well, let's get to it. So we got that BBSHD installed, and actually I've already run a battery through this, and spoiler alert, it's a lot better than the BBS02. So it's got much better power. It seems like a lot higher top speed to me. We'll measure it, but we came to a parking lot, and we're clearly people have been drifting, but I don't know if you guys can see the marks. But anyways, we'll do a few wheelies and see what happens. All right. All right. I don't know if you guys can see, but sometimes when the front wheel drops, I can give it some throttle and pick it back up. So that was a lot harder to do with the BBS02. So you had to be very, very precise. And if you gave it a little too much brake, then the front end would come down and you couldn't recover. So we'll do a how-to wheelie tutorial, but just really quick once it's up in the air. So I have the rear brake lightly applied, and I have the throttle. Let me unplug this for a second. So I have the rear brake lightly applied even before I go up, right? Just dragging it ever so slightly. And I have the throttle on. I goose it to go up, and then when I'm at the balance point, if the front end is dropping, I simultaneously give it more gas and slightly reduce the brake. And if the front end if I'm going too high, I reverse. So I'm never letting go of the brake, never entirely letting off on the throttle. The two things are fighting each other constantly, and I move them in unison. So I move more, do my hands, son. So more throttle, little less brake, or more brake, little less throttle. And if you can see how little bit my hands are moving, that's what's going on when we're at balance point. All right, we'll do. By the way, these past few have all been in second gear. All right, so this isn't meant to be a tutorial, but we'll go over it quickly. So watch me here. I will, I'm gonna ride by, son. And then I'll show you to get it up in the air. I have my finger on the rear brake. I'm on the throttle steady. I give it a little jerk, and I give it more throttle. So I'm steady, boom. Steady on the throttle, and I just give it a little. Stand up. A little faster. Try 70 gear. We'll probably have to get up a little speed before we go for it, and that actually feels pretty good, 7th gear. Maybe I'll try the stand up in that high gear. so the stand-up, I mean, it comes up so easy. Tell you what you have to be careful of, doing those stand-ups or any time, it's when you come back down, right? If you have the wheel off, right? Then so if you were going fast, I don't think this bike goes fast enough, and you came down with the wheel like this, it would get you into a tank slapper, you know, and it would not be good. This is pretty forgiving, right? But if you were standing up and when you came down, and the other thing, if you're up pretty high and you give it a lot of brake, you could come down really hard. So once it starts coming down, give it throttle again. You know what I mean? It won't probably have enough to pick it back up, but it'll make it so that it comes down lightly, like auto gyroing landings on a heli. All right, third gear, coming right at you. Let me do some with pedals. When it was underpowered, it needed the pedals. But I think the pedals kind of help you for a timing thing as to like when to bring it up. Oh, it's like butter when you're like pedaling along with it. Actually, it seems easier because you have two inputs for the throttle, right? You have your wrist, and you can just pedal a little harder. So. All right, it's a new one. All right, so another thing that, you know, when you're popping the wheelie, it's all about a timing, giving it a little jerk, you know, so you're cruising along. Maybe you're pedaling with your strong foot down and just, you know, you end up moving your body a little bit, but it comes back and then it comes to an abrupt stop, which makes a little jerk on the handlebars. And if that coincides with the throttle application, if they're timed just right, it'll come up real easy. So it turns out that it's a very precise timing thing, so you'll be trying it and it'll work great sometimes and sometimes it won't, and that's because sometimes the timing is a millisecond off and that's all it takes for it to not work well. So if you keep trying, your brain, without you understanding how, it just figures out what works. So you just keep trying, and then it eventually you will have a instinctive timing to pop it up, and you'll see it'll just come up like butter, right? And what else was I going to say? Oh, so I like the pedaling. The pedaling helps. What else? All right, Luke wants to go. That's it.